So my first introduction to Carrie was in 2002, and it wasn't Brian De Palma's film that introduced me to it. It was actually a film by David Carson starring Angela Bettis, the Angela Bettis that starred in the film May, and that was the first Carrie film I'd ever seen. I don't even think that I had heard of Carrie until that film. Like, I haven't even heard of the 1976 Carrie back then because I'm pretty sure I watched this, like the 2002 version, when it came out. I was 13, 14 years old, and it was pretty much the first time I heard the story, so I don't really recall, although I should have heard of the 1976 Carrie, I just don't really recall knowing about it. But from what I remember, because that's the only time I ever watched the 2002 Carrie, I remember liking it a lot, and it really like got under my skin, and the story disturbed me. The whole, like, it's the same story. It's a remake. It's a pretty standard modernized remake kind of thing, and the story really got me. Like the whole religious mother thing and the whole telekinetic powers thing and the bullying at school. Everything really was impactful for me, and I remember really liking the film, and I do want to rewatch it. But then, of course, later on, I checked out the original Carrie, and I watched it, I would say, before this watch, maybe twice, and it's always just been good. Um, you know, not bad whatsoever. I could definitely always appreciate it for what it was and the classic that it was. And I've always been a fan of Stephen King, so that always won me over. But it just never was a memorable horror film for me in the sense that other horror films of the time and other classic horror films were. So I always like remembered it. It was good, but that was about it. And um, I never rewatched the 2002 remake, and I didn't even bother with the the most modern, the most recent remake with Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore. Um, See, the thing is, Sissy Spacek is obviously the best Carrie, and Piper Laurie is by far the best crazy religious mother there is. This rewatch was the best I've seen of this film so far. I loved it. Enjoyed it the most of watching this version, and it was just great. And I was gonna say about the Chloe Grace Moretz version, like, it's weird, and it doesn't work when you get, you know, a model style actress and try to have her act nerdy and ugly and awkward. They don't even, like, I watched the trailer. Like I said, I'm not too interested in watching it. Maybe I'll check it out. But watching the trailer, they don't even do anything to amplify her looking believably ugly or believably awkward. It's just weird. It's like that movie She's All That, where it's like, wow, yeah, you have glasses, so therefore you're the nerdiest kid in school. Like, you're a model with glasses. As a matter of fact, the glasses make you look hotter. Like, it doesn't work, and that's the problem that I see the modern Carrie having. Whereas Sissy Spacek is not ugly by any means. She just has every characteristic of beauty that's not normally looked at as beautiful. Like her eyes, her nose especially, just it's different, and she can be dressed up, and she can be directed to definitely portray a girl who's very sheltered and very awkward and very nerdy and socially uncalibrated. She fits that, and she could be portrayed as that. She can be built to be that character. Even though she has that beauty in her too, especially when she gets done up and dressed up, like in the prom scenes and stuff like that. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous girl. And she looks a lot younger than she was, actually. She looks like she's 18, 19 years old, but she was 26-ish when this film when this film was made. Probably 26, could have even been 25 because she has a late birthday. She's Sissy was born on Christmas Day actually. But yeah, getting into the film, I really, like I said, loved it the most on this watch, and it holds up as the classic that it is for sure. It starts off like immediately at a scene that actually really hit home, where Carrie's playing volleyball with a bunch of schoolmates and they're all bullying her, obviously. She misses the volleyball and everybody starts, bullying her. One girl hits her across the head with a hat. And it actually reminded me of me a lot in elementary school because I used to suck at sports and I used to be extremely, extremely nerdy and socially awkward. So I would be bullied a lot, especially during sports when I would clearly suck at them, and everybody would just put me down like crazy. So I definitely felt Carrie in that moment for sure. The shower scene, very 1976. You got Bush. You got a lot of Bush. Very slow mo, very 70s. Great camera panning with, going into Carrie taking her shower, and it's very sensual. Brian De Palma really knows how to hold a camera and direct it, or the cinematographer, or whatever you want to call it. Knows how to shoot that scene, and everybody says the whole like plug it up, plug it up, plug it up is like outdated, and girls wouldn't say that today. I don't know. I might disagree on that because girls can be pretty damn catty, and the whole like plug it up, I could see happening even today, even in like a social media driven world, and just like people say like, oh, that would be weird for girls to say today. I don't think it would. Bitches be bitches, and that I could totally see a swarm of chicks being like plug it up, because in high school especially, like I've heard things said that are extremely immature. That line is not that far fetched. It doesn't like not age well, I don't think, which a lot of people say it doesn't, but I disagree on that. Um, then the mother, who played by Piper Laurie, best performance in this film. Best performance in this film is by Piper Laurie. Piper Laurie is the perfect psychotic religious mother. She is. I would have given her an Academy Award or nominated her for one. Of course, the Academy Awards doesn't really touch horror a whole lot, but she definitely deserves some kind of acting award for that supporting role that she delivered beautifully and so believably. She's only about 17 years older than Sissy Spacek was, or is. So it would make her about 43, which makes, she could have been Carrie's mother. She would just have to have her like 16, 17, which makes sense. But anyway, she goes to her neighbors, or her, someone in the neighborhood, some lady, who has a daughter named Sue, who also goes to school with Carrie. And of course, she's trying to, preach the biblical quotes to this woman and ask for charity money and whatnot, trying to bring her into the Lord's ways. And this woman is just kind of trying to rush her out the door by offering her money. She's just like, basically, here's $5, $10 here. I'm offering this as charity. And Carrie's mother could obviously sense this, that she's kind of like giving her the brush off. So she just walks away, like kind of pissed off. But then it's funny because she turns around and she's like, I pray you find Jesus. And she lifts her hand up in the air, like wide in the air, like as if she's going to smack her. Like normally, like she turns around like real quick and she has her hand like this, so it looks like she's literally going to smack her in the face. But she just lifts it like this. She's like, I pray you find Jesus. And I found that funny because I literally thought she was going to just smack her right across the face. But she didn't. She's too religious for that. She can lock her daughter in the closet to pray for hours, but she won't hit any neighbors anytime soon, that's for sure. Well, who knows? Maybe behind the scenes. And then you got the school teacher, Miss Collins, who that's one thing about the 2002 remake. The portrayal of the actress who played the Miss Collins character, I don't know if her name in the 2002 version was Miss Collins as well, but I remember the Miss Collins character being very nice to Carrie and very protective to Carrie, to the point where she like threatened to suspend students if they even looked at Carrie wrong. This woman portrayed in the 2002 film was very, very, very good. I forget the actress, and I haven't watched the film in a long time, but I have no idea how it's going to compare to this one. Probably not even close. But I do remember the Miss Collins character in the 2002 version being very, very protective over Carrie and very nice to Carrie. And so's the Miss Collins here. And of course, the next day after this whole shower situation, everybody knows the shower scene. If for anybody who doesn't, Carrie has her period in the shower and has, excuse me, no idea what's going on because her mother never told her what a period was. So she literally thinks she's dying, and it's sad because she starts bleeding and she doesn't care that she's naked anymore. She just runs to the girls, literally thinking she's gonna die, and she's begging for help from these girls, and these girls are just laughing at her, thinking she's an idiot. It's fucking horrible. Like it's really gut wrenchingly horrible the way Stephen King like wrote that, and the way Brian De Palma directed it to really portray that Carrie literally has no idea what's going on. Crazy. But yeah, so she has a period in the shower. Obviously, everybody should know that. Spoiler review. Miss Collins makes all the girls do like hours of workout for their punishment and stuff like that, and even threatens to like cancel their tickets to the prom and whatnot. So you get a really, really nice Miss Collins in this film too. But like I said, I just remember the Miss Collins in the 2002 version being very, very nice to Carrie, like very nice, and I really liked her character in that one, and I really like her character in this one too. But it's funny when one of the main bullies and one of the main characters in the film, Christina, or they call her Chris, but I'm just gonna call her Christina because I assume it's Christina, starts acting like a bitch to Miss Collins, and Miss Collins has none of it. Miss Collins slaps her silly too, physically, which I guess in the 70s that was allowed. Today, you know, Miss Collins would lose her job and probably career, but yeah, she smacks a bitch like no tomorrow. And Christina, she, like just receives instant karma with it, and she's like, "You can't get away with this," and the teacher's like, "Oh yes, I can." But yeah, I found that funny. Carrie then starts to do some research on the powers that she's noticed that she has, and I find that a little bit interesting, being that Carrie she's not educated in much. You know, she doesn't know what a period is, but she all of a sudden is like, I can make things move. That must be this. So I'm gonna go research it in the library. I found that a bit of a jump. Like, you would think that maybe she thought she was like possessed by the devil. Like her first initial thought would be like, oh gee, maybe I'm a witch. You know, not, oh gee, maybe I have telekinetic powers. Like I don't think that her mind would go there, being that her character is the way she was. But it's just a little thing that I noticed. I'm like, I don't see Carrie's character doing that, but it is what it is. So she goes to research what it is, and she learns about telekinetics and that other people, that it's, you know, it's a phenomenon that has happened and all that good stuff. So you get introduced to a lot of the bullies. Christina's a big one of them. And she's actually played by Nancy Allen. Nancy Allen plays Christine. It's too bad she is the hottest character in the film because she's also the biggest cunt in the film. By far. So it's unfortunate that her good looks go to waste in that way. But she's dating John Travolta's character named Billy, and man, they're crazy. They have one hell of a relationship. Billy likes to smack her around a bit. He likes to drink and drive, like drink while driving. Uh, yeah, they get pretty Bonnie and Clyde there. And then you get these other characters named Sue, who I mentioned her mother at the beginning. Carrie's mother goes to visit Sue's mother, and Sue has a boyfriend named Tommy, and eventually Sue asks Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom. Tommy has a really good haircut, by the way. He has these like curly, like long blonde hair. It looks pretty sick. But anyway, Sue asks Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom. Now you clearly think that there's an agenda behind this. But as the film progresses, it's actually kind of neat to see that there was none. You know, even right up to the prom, you're like, something's going to happen. They're going to be in on something. Because Sue was part of the clique of the like bully girls, but and why the hell would she ask Tommy, who was taking her to prom, to be like, oh, don't take me to prom, and ask Carrie instead? It's like, what? You're not being nice. You're not being nice. Something's up. But no, they never, like, even Miss Collins questions both of them, Tommy and Sue. It's like, what are you up to? Like, why are you asking Carrie to the prom? And they're like, I just want to introduce her to, bring her out into the world, like, include her and stuff, kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, you're full of shit. Even Miss Collins was like, yeah, you're full of shit. What's up? And us as an audience is like, yeah, you're full of shit. What's up? But it's Christina and Billy who are the real evil ones, and then obviously there's a scene in the drive-in where Christine gives Billy a BJ while repeating his name, because obviously you can give a blowjob while repeating somebody's name clearly, like Billy, 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 while performing the act. No logic. No logic. No logic. I don't think you can perform that and clearly speak at the same time. But you can in this movie, apparently. They have skills. And then, that's when they come up with the plan where they're going to kill a pig and take the pig's blood and put it in a bucket and dump it all over Carrie. Now, what high school students would think of this, let alone do it? Like, they go to a pig farm and Billy slaughters a pig while Christine is like, do it, do it. That's why I mentioned Bonnie and Clyde. This couple is like psychotic, like serial killer psychotic. Like, these people, like, in 10 years will be hiding bodies in basements. Like, they're that freaking crazy. And yeah, like, he's just like beating down the pig and she's just like, do it, like, all excited. It's like, I don't know many high school students like that outside of actual legitimate serial killers who have gone down in history. So yeah, that's how Stephen King writes it. I haven't read the book. I wonder how similar the book is to the film. Whether it's worse. Usually the books are worse, like they're more graphic and stuff like that. But I don't know. Then the candlelit dinner, when Carrie mentions to her mother that she was asked to prom by Tommy, is what you expect. She tosses tea into Carrie's face and tells her she cannot go to the prom. And this is where Carrie starts to really rebel. And again, it's a little bit of a jump on how fast she starts to rebel, but at the same time, with everything that she's been through and like discovering a period for herself where her mother didn't even tell her that that's a natural thing for a woman to have, because according to a mother, you only get a period if you sin. That's her mother's thoughts. Women don't get periods unless they are filled with sin. Women without sin don't get periods. It doesn't happen, according to her mother. So that's her belief, and she really believes it. Like, I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but this character played by Piper Laurie, like, legitimately believes that women don't get periods unless they sin, unless they're filled with sin, unless the devil brings the river of blood or something like that, she mentions. Something along those lines. But Carrie starts to get all, like, really strong with the telekinesis, and there's psycho strings in this film, like from Psycho. Do, 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 do. And they sound very, very much the same as Psycho. I wonder how the copyrights went with that. Whether Brian De Palma bought them, or him and Hitchcock were tight, or I don't know. But they are legit Psycho strings, like taken straight out of Psycho. Not like as long, like they only play for like 5 seconds or less, but they're there. Like they are definitely the Psycho strings. But then she's like, yeah, I'm going to the prom with Tommy, and you can't do shit about it. And she's all like gung ho about it. Her mom sees her dress, and she's like, it's red. I should have known it's red. Her fucking dress is pink. And I'm not talking about like hot pink. I'm talking about like almost white pink. I'm talking about like dusty rose, like really, really like almost my shirt white pink. Like with the slightest hint of pink, and she's like, it's red. Okay, colorblind. There's also a nice little neat touch that you could kind of miss if you blink, but on the road when Carrie's looking out the window, there's like those lines on the road that for traffic and stuff like that. It's shaped like an upside down crucifix. It's a white painted line that's shaped like an upside down crucifix, and I assume that's symbolism. Like, come on, like I'm not gonna. That's no coincidence. It's obviously symbolism from De Palma, and I like that little touch. Like I like touches like that in films like this. They make them. They add the rewatch value like crazy. I really like that. When Carrie's getting ready, her mom starts to act psychotic and like tells her like it's not too late. We can burn the dress together and pray for forgiveness. And like starts pulling at her own hair and like trying to hurt herself and like slaps herself and stuff like that. And Carrie's just like, "Stop, mom! I'm nervous enough already." And she is like she's petrified of going to this prom, but at the same time excited. And now she has this her mother trying to like and Carrie's convinced that she's going to prom. Like she's not gonna let her mother. She's done with this, and I like that. I like that she finally decided and made a decision where she's not gonna buy into her mother's influences. So that was pretty cool to see that change in Carrie, and then you get like as soon as you get to the prom, everything starts to turn into slow motion, and the film starts to really, really take its time and get detailed with the cinematography and the camera work. And I like De Palma's work with it. The conversation between Tommy and Carrie is great, and I'm still sitting there waiting like something's up, something's gonna happen, but Tommy ends up being a really, really good dude, and Sue too. Like she's even standing by the stage before that whole shindig, happens, where you think, oh, here it is. Now she's behind something, but she's not because she realizes the bucket. I guess she she wanted to. She knew that some kind of prank was gonna be pulled. Like I don't know, like some silly string or something. I don't know. Like maybe she suspected something was gonna happen, but not to the point of, animal blood. So it could be that, but overall, like they never mentioned Sue and Tommy having any agenda, and it showed that they didn't have any agenda. So, but yeah, the cinematography of the prom is fantastic. Right up to the when they get on stage, when those Bonnie and Clyde little bitches are underneath the stage, getting ready to pull the string to pour it on Carrie, and my God, like they're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. Like, oh, genius. And silence. Silence. Like no music build up, like just Carrie's eyes say it all. With the whole they're all gonna laugh at you looping in her head. And then she sees a kaleidoscope of what's in front of her of the people laughing. Like it's like a kaleidoscope, and it's so perfect because it makes so much sense that that's what she would be seeing. She would be, while losing her mind, seeing the world as a kaleidoscope, probably. Like her world would start to spin until she probably blacked out and did her whole psychotic telekinesis stuff. But yeah, the whole like they're all gonna laugh at you loop, plus the kaleidoscope, plus the silence, the dead pin drop silence, like it's so good. and I appreciated it so much on this view, you know, that before everything happened with the fire hose and the sprinklers and the electricity and everything lighting on fire and stuff like that. And then you have Carrie walking down the road, and once again, Bonnie and Clyde, the bitch is behind the wheel and ready to run Carrie over. She's ready to run Carrie over. She's gonna run that chick over. She does not care. This girl is a teenage psychopath. She's not a bully anymore. She's literally crazy. And Travolta's character obviously is crazy, Billy. Crazy too, but like he's just abusive, you know. I like she's the leader in that pack. She's leading him to be a fucking, you know, nut job. But yeah, and then of course Carrie's telekinetic powers makes the car swerve around her and flip over and light on fire. It was like, yes, you go, Carrie. And yeah, and like after the prom, like post prom when she gets home too, everything again is very slow motion and very 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 detailed. And the whole house is lit in candles because clearly the mother has had a huge storage of candles lying around somewhere. I'm telling you, there's hundreds of them. And this place looks like an absolute tomb. And I wrote down here organ music. If you've watched some of my videos, I might have mentioned organ music before. Organ music, I love. Like churchy sounding, gothic sounding organ music. Totally my thing. So yeah, we get some organ music in the finale when she walks into the house and the camera's panning all over the place real slow with candles everywhere. And you got some organ music and it's goth as shit. Love it. And then she goes upstairs to run her bath and she gets all washed up and then she, you know, she wants to be held by her mother and her mother starts to describe how she got pregnant with Carrie and how it was pretty much a rape kind of because she never wanted to have sex. She was extremely religious and she spent a long time with this man named Ralph without having sex. And then one day Ralph was drunk and wanted it and kind of took it. So pretty much rape. And yeah, and that's where she, you know, felt she admitted that she should have killed herself right there and not had the child and killed Carrie and what yada yada yada. Then she has a knife with her and she wants to commit a double murder suicide, I guess you could call it. She wants to kill Carrie and she attempts to kill Carrie by stabbing her in the back and then Carrie falls down the stairs. And here comes Carrie's mother all angelic, like with a white dress, and she has a knife in her hand, and she's all like it's really really disturbing stuff, but it's really really well shot stuff. Like the directing and the acting choices and the direction choices that Brian De Palma made are perfect for a story like this. I think it really works wonders on it, and it ages great. It's not outdated whatsoever. Even the story's not outdated whatsoever. In a time where we know a lot more, there's less. Well, I shouldn't say there's less crazy religious people. There's Carrie's moms in the world today, like for sure. I'm just saying we live in a world where there's more access to education. Is what I'm saying. Whereas 1970, you know, you had libraries and that's it. You know, there was no Google. But yeah, so she's, you know, trying to attack Carrie, and then you have your whole infamous mom getting penetrated to the wall with all kinds of sharp objects, and she has both her hands, you know, stabbed through and piercings through her friggin' chest, and then Carrie kind of goes into another like telekinetic moment, and the whole house comes crashing down. And you get this shot of the Jesus figure that was in the closet that Carrie's mother would always put Carrie into the closet to pray for forgiveness for hours. And you get this Jesus, character, which they actually made look very like evil-ish. It was kind of a weird looking Jesus figure. It was like nailed to the cross and everything, but he also had like arrows in his chest, And there was never a time where Jesus was impaled with arrows when crucified. That didn't happen. I don't know. I was raised Roman Catholic. I've never heard a story of Jesus being crucified. A version of him being pummeled with arrows while he was crucified. So I've never heard of that one. It doesn't exist, according to my knowledge. But yeah, the statue of Jesus had arrows in like implementing his chest, or what do you say? I don't think that ever happened. I'm pretty sure it didn't. But afterwards, you get a dream sequence that Sue is having, where there's the crucifix, like the where the house was, basically. The house is in shambles, and there's like a white crucifix saying for sale or whatnot, and then it says Carrie will burn in hell. Yeah, Carrie White burns in hell with an arrow pointing down to the ground. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm glad it was a dream sequence, because that would be like the cherry on the cake of like being the shittiest humans you can possibly be to this poor girl. But then Sue wakes up and she's screaming, and let's see, Sue lost Tommy, which I forgot to mention. How did Tommy die? I'm confused on that. He didn't get hit in the head with the bucket. He literally just dropped of a heart attack. Was that part of Carrie's telekinetic powers? Did she just blow up his heart or something? Because he literally just collapsed. And apparently he died because he never comes back. And they mentioned that he died in the end of the film. So Sue lost Tommy, her boyfriend. Sue lost, well, Christine and Billy. She didn't lose them, but they died. She experienced, well, the death of Carrie, this whole aftermath. She pretty much lost everyone. Um, I think that that Miss Collins died as well. I'm not gonna quote that one though, because she might have lived. But yeah, like basically when Sue is kicked out of the prom because Miss Collins thinks that Sue is in on something when she starts to act fishy around the stage. Yeah, she pretty much lost everyone. So yeah, she would be a little bit mentally screwy at the end of the film. So I don't blame her on having those nightmares and all that. But it end like this film ends exactly where it should, and it's one heck of a retelling of the book, which I have not read, so I can't compare it to the book. But obviously, audiences and critics love it alike, and I really, really, really liked it a lot on this watch. I cannot see how Chloe Grace Moretz's version and Julianne Moore's can possibly compare to this. It screams Hollywood cash grab from what I see. And I do want to watch the 2002 version again so I can you know, reevaluate it, kind of thing. Yeah, this is Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma. This is released in 1976, starring Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie. I keep forgetting Piper Laurie's name for some reason. Piper Laurie steals the show. Like more than Sissy Spacek, even though Sissy Spacek is the star and is a 10 out of 10 performance. It's Piper Laurie as like the best that she could possibly be as a psychotic religious mother. She is so good. So yeah, Brian De Palma's Carrie is one to check out. If you clued in, I'm kind of building up to Halloween. So I'm reviewing a lot of horror films, especially classic horror films recently, before my 31 Days of Horror coming up in October, so check that out. Yeah, that's it for now. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with lots more, including 31 Days of Horror as I mentioned, so stay tuned for all that. And until next review, take care, cheers, and have a good one.